The last thing you remember is Tuesday. An ordinary Tuesday. You made coffee. You sat by the window. You thought about something you needed to do, that you kept not doing. And then, nothing. And then, this. The room is clean in a way that has no explanation. The light is wrong. Warmer somehow. Realer. You go to the window. And the city outside is not your city. Not your country. Not your century. Your brain does something interesting. It tries to explain it. Dream, it says. Film set. Fever. Your brain cycles through every option. Faster and faster. Until it runs out of options. And arrives, blinking, at the truth. This is real. This is 500 years from Tuesday. And you have absolutely no idea why you are here, yet. Her name is Sable. She arrives as if she expected you. Which, you will discover, she did. She answers every question before you finish asking it. Yes, you are where you think you are. No, you are not dreaming. The year is 2524. You do the mathematics. 501 years. You were 28. By every definition that used to make sense. You should be long dead. She says, we can explain everything. There's time. We have a lot of time for you. The way she says for you is unusual. Not for you to adjust. Not for you to understand. Just for you. As if you are owed something. You file that away. You have always noticed. The things that don't quite fit. They solved it. That is the first thing you understand. Walking into the city of 2524. They actually solved it. The air is clean. The river running through the center is clear enough to see the bottom. The buildings grow food on their walls. There are no visible weapons. There is no visible poverty. There are children playing in a park. That would have been a motorway in your time. You stand there for a long time. Sable lets you. You are from a time when people argued about whether the world could be saved. The answer, you now know, is yes. Yes, it can. It was. The second day, you notice the looking. Not the way people look at someone unusual. At old clothing, at an unfamiliar face. At someone out of place. This is different. This is the way people look at something. They recognize. A woman in a market stops mid-sentence. When you pass. A teenager on a bench sits up straighter. A child, no more than 8. Looks at you with wide eyes. And says something to the person beside them. You ask Sable, why are they looking at me like that? She says, you should eat something first. You say, that's not an answer. She says, no. But it's still true. You eat something. You do not stop thinking about the looking. Your name is on a building. Not as a footnote. Not as a historical curiosity. In the center of a public square. That has clearly been here for a long time. The stone worn smooth at the edges the way. Only centuries of weather and hands can do it. Your name. Your actual name. Your birth year. A dash. The year you vanished. And underneath it, in a language you don't know. A phrase that Sable translates quietly. Without waiting for you to ask. She spoke first. You stand in the square. The afternoon continues around you. People walk past your name. The way people walk past things. They have known their whole lives. You say, what does that mean? Sable says, tomorrow. The archivist will explain everything. You say, tonight. She looks at you. She says, tonight. The archivist's name is something that doesn't translate. He tells you to call him whatever feels comfortable. He says, been studying you. For 43 years. You say, that's not possible. I'm 28. He smiles the way people smile. At something both true and complicated. He says, shall I show you? You have been waiting for this question. Since you saw your name in the square. Since the child looked at you with recognition. Since Sable said for you. In that particular way. You say, show me. It is a video diary. You remember making it. A Tuesday, that Tuesday, when you couldn't sleep. And you sat in your bedroom. And talked to your phone camera. The way you did sometimes. When your thoughts were too loud. To stay inside your head. You talked about ordinary things. About feeling like you weren't enough. About the gap between who you wanted to be. And who you actually were on a Tuesday at 2 a.m. About the strange grief of being alive in a world that felt like it was falling apart. And not knowing what to do with that. You talked for 47 minutes. You never posted it. You almost deleted it. It was the most honest you had ever been. With anyone, including yourself. You didn't know you were being preserved. You didn't know anyone would ever see it. You were just talking. In 2089, 65 years after you disappeared, a historian named Vera Osei was cataloging personal digital archives from the early 21st century. She found your video on a recovered server. An ordinary person talking to a phone camera. At 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. She almost moved past it. She watched the first 30 seconds. She watched all 47 minutes. She watched it again. She wrote a paper about it. Not about you specifically. About what you said. About the specific quality of your honesty. The way you described ordinary human inadequacy. Without shame, without performance. Without trying to make it better than it was. Just, this is what it feels like. Right now. To be me. The paper was read by 11 people initially. Then 100. Then something happened. That the archivist describes as the most significant cultural event of the 22nd century. The world, it turns out, had been waiting for someone to say it first. You said it first. You just didn't know you were saying it. For everyone. They have a museum. Not of your achievements. You didn't have achievements, particularly. Not of your brilliance. You were ordinary, by every measure you applied to yourself. A museum of your ordinariness. Your coffee cup. The books on your shelf. A photograph of you at a supermarket checkout. That someone else took and you never knew existed. The phone you recorded the video on. All of it behind glass. All of it studied. All of it carrying the weight of what came after. You sit on the bench in the middle of it and feel something you don't have a word for. The archivist sits beside you. He says nothing. He has, you understand, sat here many times before. Waited for this moment. Given it space. He is very good at his work. You ask him, why did you bring me here? Not how. How is a technology question. And technology questions have answers. Why is the question underneath? He thinks about it for a moment. Then he says, because the people who changed the world most completely almost always thought they were nobody. And we thought you should know that you weren't. You sit with that. But I didn't do anything, you say. I just talked to a phone at 2 a.m. He says, yes. He says, that was the thing. You look at him. He says, everyone was feeling what you described. For generations. But no one said it plainly. Without agenda. Without trying to fix it or sell something. You just said, this is hard. I don't have the answers. I'm trying anyway. He pauses. 500 years later, we still teach that as the bravest sentence anyone in your era ever said. That night, you sit on the bed, in the clean, quiet room of the future. You think about the Tuesday, the coffee, the window, the thing you were putting off doing, the 2 a.m. and the phone and the 47 minutes of just talking, of just being honest about being ordinary. You didn't know you were doing anything. That was the whole point. That was exactly the point. The future built a world on honesty. That began with one person, who had no audience in mind, and no agenda, and nothing to offer but the plain truth of what it felt like to be alive, and uncertain, and trying anyway. You pick up the recording device, Sable left. You press the button. You don't prepare anything. You just start talking about what it's like to be here, about what the river looks like, about what the children look like in the park, about what it feels like to find out that the most unguarded version of yourself was the version that mattered, about the extraordinary, ordinary fact of being alive in any century, and how that, by itself, without addition, has always been enough. You don't know who will hear it. You never did. You talk anyway. You always did. That was always the thing.